Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, it is Dennis.
This is Dennis and
Yeah.
GMDN. Greetings from London.
Perfect. We just wanted to double check.
Yes.
You,
okay.
and then also from Nada's office. So, and Deus, the three of you are presenters. So for the rest of you, please give us a few minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Deus, can you speak just to double check your microphone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Good.
And from Europe, can you speak on Nada's office just to make sure that you can? You're muted. Can you unmute, please?
I think that now you can hear me. Okay,
Perfect,
good
perfect.
morning, everybody.
Now we can hear you. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Nice
here.
coming. Just a minute.
Okay, thank you. Dennis, so Deus will initiate, then he gives me the word. I will share my slides, and then you share your own slides. And Nada shares her own slide. And Nada first shares her slides, and then Dennis. Is that okay?
Great. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So now, if you want, we can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are already 43 here, and other 4 in the lobby, so I can admit them. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening. We will start in 5 minutes. So we will turn our videos and cameras off. We just did a test. Dennis, do you want to test your slide? If you can present, if you can share. Perfect. Well, no, in presentation mode. Just need. We're not seeing in presentation mode. Okay, perfect.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay. From Nada's side, do you want to share your slides just to make sure it works?
Just a second, I will try, but
Thank you.
This is not my personal computer, so I don't know. Can you see the presentation?
No, not yet.
Now?
Yes, but it just needs to be in presentation mode.
Okay.
At the very bottom. At the very bottom in the corner, in the right corner. There, further down, where you have down and then.
Susan, can you?
Hi, Nada.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, Nada. We're just testing. And sound, we can hear your microphone, everything's well. So we just wanted to test your presentation mode. Perfect. I think that's coming. Exactly. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
So Nada, Deus is director of HPS. So will do some housekeeping announcements. Then I'll give the word to Deus. Then Deus gives the word to me, then to Nada, then to Dennis. Is that okay?
Thank you.
And then we do the questions and answers. There will be, we will ask them to put the questions and answers in the Q&A. And then if you want to start responding, you can respond. And then Daniela will be managing to see if anybody wants to, a specific response or any other comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just from my side, I will also introduce Alessandra Villano from the Italian Ministry. And
Perfect.
Mauro and Sara, once they arrive, they're just running a little bit late from the region. So it just happened that we were all together today.
That's marvelous. Okay.
Yes.
Nada, just let me know if you want to make somebody else presenter, because we are the only presenters. So yeah, Mauro will be with you, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So you can introduce Mauro and Alexandra and everybody else. Dennis, on your side, you introduce your team too.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, before you start your talk. And we will keep the time 10 minutes for each one of us. Okay. So
yes, I have many more slides, but I will flip through most
and
of
we will share the slides after the meeting, and the recording, the meeting will be recorded. Okay. Deus, may I start? You're muted.
There are some people who would like to be admitted. Okay.
Danny, can you take care of admitting everybody? Okay. Good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Nomenclature webinar. Just some housekeeping events. There will be 4 presenters. Please, any questions that you have, please put them in Q&A. And all the meeting will be recorded, and we will we will share the presentations and the meeting recording after the end of the event. And we have 1 hour, and we want to thank everyone for your participation. So without further ado, I'll give the floor to Dr. Deus Mubangisi. Over to you, Deus.
Thank you, Adriana, and thank you, colleagues from the European Medical Devices Nomenclature and also from the Global Medical Devices Nomenclature, and dear participants who are online. Of course, depending on where you are, it is a good morning or a good afternoon or a good evening, and welcome indeed to this webinar. Indeed, my name is Deus Mubangisi, the Director of Health Product Policies and Standards at WHO here in Geneva headquarters. Well, first of all, let me say welcome to this webinar, and I'm glad that we are having this webinar today, because we know that medical devices are a cornerstone for health care delivery across the value chain. And often we know that medical devices have been not brought at the same level as other health products and technologies like vaccines and medicines, and often left behind. And as a result, we cannot maximize the output or the benefits from the healthcare delivery systems, especially the parts that are played by medical devices. And therefore, today, I'm very glad that we have this seminar, not only to highlight the importance of medical devices in the healthcare system, but also presenting an important aspect, that is the nomenclature of medical devices, to ensure that we streamline and maximize the use and benefit of medical devices across the value chain. Access to medical devices and harmonized nomenclature of medical devices is important in improving access to safe and affordable medical devices towards increased quality of healthcare everywhere. We know that nomenclature plays a part not only at the industrial manufacturing level, but also in the research settings, but also in the marketing authorizations by the regulatory authorities, in ministries of health through selection and reimbursement policies and lists, but of course also on the healthcare delivery system in provision to identify the medical devices across the healthcare delivery system, but also in post-marketing surveillance, including vigilance. Now, in the today we here present to you information that is in the clearinghouse of medical devices related to documents as mandated by the World Health Assembly. In the first edition, which integrates the 4 previous WHO publications on priority medical devices, as well as various other WHO publications on the technical specifications and other WHO guidance. The medical devices compilation, or MeDevIS, presents a compilation of documents related to medical devices as we expect it to be continuously expanding. Nevertheless, today, we present 2 platforms in terms of nomenclature that not actually 2 platforms, but 2 elements of the platform about the nomenclature that presents the nomenclature of medical devices. And I am very glad to have our colleagues around the table from EMDN and GMDN who have cooperated with us in this project. And I will allow Adriana later on to go through the history of what we have gone through to reach this important milestone today. First, my colleague Adriana will present that history, and then we will present each of the teams, that is EMDN and GMDN, will present how they have cooperated and how we have incorporated their codes and the nomenclature within MeDevIS. We know that there are thousands and thousand types of medical devices that are used from prevention, protection, diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation and assistance. These range from single use to large capital equipment, which with investments and more than 10 years of operation expenses. They can also be small, complex, and costly implants to large radiotherapy equipment requiring a bunker. They are also complex to regulate as they use a risk-based approach. As you know, that medical devices have a quick turnover in terms of life cycle and a quick update. So it's their regulation incorporates risk-based principles so that then the regulation is commensurate to the risk that is associated with the product. With such rapid change, it's important to have traceability, and traceability is enabled by an appropriate nomenclature that can be traced across the health delivery system. Procurement is complex due to multiple types and specifications. So across the health systems, people would have to understand the different types and what they are procuring and the specifications that relate to each type. Again, a process that is enabled by the appropriate nomenclature. There are multiple nomenclature systems and many more are being developed as a consequence of not having a single international naming systems. In accordance with the WHO World Assembly Resolution 7525, a decision nomenclature of medical devices was made, and WHO convenes this webinar to present the inclusion of EMDN and GMDN nomenclature in the WHO platforms, including MeDevIS and the essential in vitro diagnostics lists. Today, we present a way forward and would like your action to harmonize naming systems of information and make it a global public good. And we welcome the collaboration with WHO to make information available for everyone, everywhere. I know we will have questions, but we will have questions at the end of the 3 presentations. Once again, let me take this opportunity to thank EMDN and GMDN for journeying with us and also present to you what I call our journal. For those who work with the Army, you know, people refer to their generals, you know, their biggest commanders. In this case, our general is none other than Adriana Velasquez, who has journeyed with us to make sure that we reach this milestone. And on that, I will come you to this webinar and hand over to Adriana to give us the journey up to this place. Over to you, Adriana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deus, and welcome everybody. And I thank you all for your participation. So if you allow me, I will start. I'm sharing my slides. Thank you, Deus. Okay, so what I will present to you today is really the roads toward medical devices information, including a harmonized naming. Just go to the next slide. Okay, the agenda will take us to 3 different stages: the past, the present, and the future. In the past, we had the resolution 6029 that indicated that WHO had to create a clearinghouse for medical devices. And I just share with you this slide that it's actually from 2010 that said 5 options for WHO. Do nothing, choose one nomenclature, create a new nomenclature. So this is a little bit of the story. So it is not something new. This was something that was needed since 2010 and was noted in WHO. And we couldn't get any agreements those times. Then I will present the World Health Assembly decision on medical device information system. And then we will talk about what is the future. How can we put information harmonized as a public good, just following what Director Deus just mentioned. So you should know that WHO has many health products lists, and these lists are used by countries to develop their national lists. So the essential medicines and essential medicine list for children, actually the essential medicines list will be 50 years next year, the anniversary. So that means they're really way in front of us. And if you go to the essential medicines list, you will find that they have an ATC code and INN name. So they have an identification for each of them. Then in 2010, our colleague Jose Hansen, along with the others, developed the medical device managing the mismatch. And I just took a paragraph from that book in 2010. It says the lack of single nomenclature. This was stated in this book in 2010. Later on, we started in WHO to develop the priority medical devices list for reproductive health, cancer management, then COVID hit, and then we went back to cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. Our colleagues from the assistive devices team, they developed the assistive products list. And also from our team, the MDD team, We developed the model list for essential in vitro diagnostics, which started 2018, and there are 4 volumes, 4 editions. But none of them have a code or a harmonized name. I'm just talking about the past and how we can change it for the future. When we went out to search for others, we saw that it was happening the same. EMDN has their own name for nasal cannula, GMDN has another name, the Global Fund in the WAMBO system has another code, MSF has another code, UNICEF has another code, and even the WHO emergency catalog during COVID has another code. And all of this is for a simple nasal cannula. Then I went to Wikipedia and looked into nasal cannula, and there's no, besides the link to the ICD or this one from the CT scanner, but there's no name. And if you go and look into aspirin, I removed it because there were too many images here, and you go to Wikipedia, you will find the INN names, the ITC codes, they're all publicly available, but not in the case of medical devices. So we have come a long way, and I made it like really an uphill because it has been really difficult and torturous. But I think we are approaching, but still not there. We really need to ensure that at the end, everyone everywhere has access to a naming system for medical devices as the global public good to avoid multiple developments. We started in 2010 with the first resolution. Then we have 4 global forum of medical devices, and in all of them, there was a mention about lack of a nomenclature. We had a 2011 consultation with GMDN and ECRI and UNSPSC in that time. And then in 2018, we published the document that says the core principles for nomenclature. It has to have a transparent governance, has to have access to global public good, and many categories and so on, many other indicators. Then in 2019, in the executive board, the member states said, wait, WHO cannot develop a new nomenclature. Please use what is available. Then in 2021, we did multiple consultations. 2022, finally, an agreement was made with member states, and that is the decision 7525, in which they said, okay, WHO should have a place to put information for medical devices and find terms, codes in the same place. And I'll tell you about that later. And then by that time, some member states supported the European medical device nomenclature system, and some other countries supported the global medical device nomenclature. We could work with the European codes, and we have been having a good relation with the European codes because they are publicly available and they comply 100% with the characteristics that we stated in 2018. So we started working with the EMDN terms and put them in some WHO publications. But we couldn't do the same for GMDN. So we worked with our lawyers to try to find license agreements with both sides. And I'm really happy that after working with them, we found the solution. And this is what we want to present to you today. So in 2024, we reached an agreement with GMDN towards an open policy access, because as you know, all documents in WHO have to be publicly available. You don't need to register to download MeDevIS or the ICD-11 or the INN for WHO or any guideline. They are publicly available. So we added the EMDN terms, the GMDN terms, codes, and definitions in WHO platforms. And we had a first information session on March the 5th. And today we're having this open webinar inviting our colleagues from EMDN and GMDN to present our collaboration. What we can see for the future is we have to make a report to the executive board in January 2025. And our vision is really the expansion on access to WHO tools using EMDN and GMDN as a public good. This is the decision that member states took. They said to integrate available information related to medical devices, including terms and codes and definitions, in a web-based database and clearinghouse established with this mandate, and now available as MeDevIS, and link these to other WHO platforms. We are in that process. We're not there yet. And submit a report by in January 2025. So MeDevIS was developed 2023, 2024, really gathering all the information from the Priority Medical Devices book and from all the technical specifications. And And we added trainings, technical specifications, and we have even a filter that you can filter for type of healthcare unit, etc. And I may say we did a pilot project with GMDN, UMDNS, EMDN, and UNSPSC, but that was just a pilot project for 200 devices. Then in in 2024, we changed from a beta version to a first edition of the MeDevIS. And now it includes EMDN and GMDN nomenclatures, codes, terms, their disclaimer, and a link to their website. So if you see here, this is a PET-CT system, and here you have the EMDN code, the EMDN term, and a link to EMDN. A GMDN code, a GMDN term and definition, and their link to the GMDN. And both of them have a copyright, but that they allow that WHO can publish this information publicly. And so I really want to thank all the legal advisors that helped us through, because it was not an easy way. And since yesterday night, the essential in vitro diagnostics includes the model list of essential in vitro diagnostics includes a reference table with GMDN naming. We will be adding, we will be working with EMDN, and we will insert all these codes and terms inside the EDL, because right now it's a reference table, but it is available and you can download it. So as we know, then the harmonized nomenclature really improves access to safe, quality, and affordable medical devices towards increased quality of health everywhere, as Deus was mentioning. Why? Because what we want is that everybody everywhere uses the coding, the nomenclature codes, the academia and industry, the regulatory agencies to support marketing, the health technology assessment agencies or ministries of health for their policies, healthcare benefit packages, national policies, or their list for reimbursement and procurement based sometimes in WHO lists. And then that anybody that manages those technologies for procurement, installation, training, maintenance, or even the commissioning and the post-market surveillance that Deus was mentioning, that's very important to provide feedback to the regulation, that everybody everywhere would use the same codes. If we do that, we can really harmonize. So the goal, as you all know, is that medical devices can save lives and increase quality of life. And that is what we want to do, having a common nomenclature. Then the future is towards interconnected WHO information on medical devices in open platforms for member states. To continue collaboration with EMDN and GMDN, many people have said, can you collaborate with both of them? I said, of course, yes, we can, as systems coexist. We all know the measurement system. We have the inches and we have the centimeters, and we have been living like that all the time. So there is a possibility, and we will be looking forward to working with all of you together. Wait a minute. So we have now the information in the medical device information system, and this will be expanding. We have the information in essential in vitro diagnostics. We will be adding EMDN. We have the information. We are making some meetings with our colleagues from the International Classification of Diseases to see how can we include those naming systems and the link with MeDevIS. And then also we have already started working with the UHC compendium. So they're taking information from MeDevIS and placing it in their system. So the vision is that everyone everywhere has access to medical device information, including a harmonized naming system, like the diseases and the medicines have. Finally, collaboration is needed from all of us. I see many participants, regulators, procurers, the industry, policymakers. We need them all. We need healthcare professionals, including the biomedical engineers, the academia, the industry, the NGOs, and all the UN organizations. Because medical devices technology is just the means. What we really need is a harmonized naming. But really what we have to keep in mind all the time for all the work that we do is something that I say over and over again. We're doing this for the patients. We have a responsibility for the future generations. And that is why on purpose I put a little patient, because we have to do something. It is not possible that 10 years later, then somebody comes and said, why didn't you do anything? So with this, I thank you very much. And you have the some QR codes here, but I thank you very much. And then over to you, Deus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adriana. And indeed, thank you for highlighting, first of all, the rich history that we went through in order to reach this stage, and incorporating code EMDN and GMDN codes into the various priority lists that we have in WHO, and of course, enriching the selection, use, and the monitoring of these medical devices, hence facilitating universal healthcare for all. So on this note, we would like to hear from our colleagues from EMDN to also present to us their collaboration with us and their perspective on what they bring on the table in our quest for universal health coverage through provision of quality medical devices. Over to you, our colleagues in EMDN.
Thank you, colleagues, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear us well. My name is Nada Al-Kayed. I work for the European Commission's Unit for Medical Devices under the Directorate General of Health and Food Safety. It's my pleasure to be providing you a presentation today on the European Medical Device Nomenclature. I am joined by colleagues here in the room who have been at the forefront of also all of the work related to EMDN. So we have Alessandra Villano from the Italian Ministry. We also have Sara Zanchiello from the Italian region of Friuli Venezia Giulia, and also Engineer Mauro Azzaro, he's been there from the very beginning of the project of translating the Italian nomenclature system into a European one. So with that, I will start sharing my screen and jump straight into today's updates. For those who may not have followed the developments in Europe over the past couple of years, following the adoption of the two regulations, the quote-unquote new, but they're not so new anymore, in 2017, the European Commission started conducting a consultation with EU member states on how to move forward in the development of our unique device identification system and our big database that you may be aware of, MeDevIS. And through these consultations with member state authorities and stakeholders, we came to the conclusion that in order to also align with the legal wording of our regulations, we wanted to move forward with a nomenclature that was completely public available, that would be led by regulators, that would be accessible to all actors without any restrictions, that is structured in a manner which is available to all and hierarchically preferably, that could be predictable to actors, transparent, inclusive, and hopefully we would have it internationally recognized. So since these years, we've worked very closely with the Italian Ministry and Italian region responsible for nomenclature to develop the first version of the European medical device nomenclature. And what you will find also on the slide, once shared, is the full EMDN as it currently stands, which can be downloaded in an Excel format in its entirety. So this nomenclature is used in the 27 member states of the European Union. It is also used in Turkey because we have a customs union agreement. It is also used in the European Economic Area, so including those states. So this brings us up to 31 countries. And in addition to this, it is expected that candidate countries of the European Union who are currently working on aligning their legislation with the European legislation, that this will be adopted in those 9 candidate countries to the European Union. So in total, we expect, at least from the European region, this number going up to 40 European countries. So a little bit on what is the EMDN. Here you can see on the screen the structure. I won't go into the details of it. You might be already familiar with it. But to summarize, it's an alphanumeric structure which is established in 7 levels. The first level refers to the category. So this is the first hierarchical level. Then it goes into the groups. And following that, it goes into the different types of devices, becoming more and more granular as you go down in levels. This is another way to represent, of course, the EMDN. This is a representation of the earlier slide as well, but this is what the codes would look like. So first, you would have a letter referring to the category for which the device falls in, followed by 2 numbers referring to the group of devices, and then a series of numbers which will refer to the type, and as I mentioned earlier, more and more granular. This is particularly important as well because for the purposes of registration in the European Union and in our system, the manufacturer must always select the most granular code available. What you can see here as well in the link added to you is a reference to 2021-12, an MDCG Medical Device Coordination Group document with frequently asked questions on EMDN, which is currently actually under revision. There, beyond registration in UNIMED, there are various uses to the EMDN. So you might also be familiar with the slide. We have implemented its use in multiple areas, including also on certificates issued by designated notified bodies. It is also used in a varied way for sampling of technical documentation, which is an activity that notified bodies have to conduct. It is also implemented in a different form in the EU implant cards, which is a new requirement under the regulations. And there's many more uses, which I won't get into the intricate details of today. This slide is just intended to show you how one form of accessing the EMDN. So of course, through UNIMED, if you want to look for products that are already available on the EU market, but also for products that are available outside the EU market, because there's a filter for products that are not intended for the EU market and are just intended for export. So this is also a possibility. And as I mentioned earlier, it is directly downloadable through the platform that is linked in an earlier slide. This is a snapshot of where we are today. So I provided this presentation last September, and those are the numbers that you see in black. As of yesterday, these are the number of registered devices with EMDN in UNIMED. So we're a little under 500,000. And this is the distribution that you see here also on the screen according to the risk classes. So we're very happy to see the numbers going up, especially because the module is currently being used on a voluntary basis. In terms of our recent activities, there has been an agreement between the Commission and the EU member states to prioritize our activities related to the nomenclature and EMDN, and falling under our main funding program, EU for Health. We have identified under access to medicinal products and medical devices a key importance for the maintenance and further development of our system. The proposal from at the time was that there would be a direct grant reaching up to a maximum of 1.8 million euros in order to continue to support our activities and development of the nomenclature. So where is this money being used? Well, this is a little bit of a representation. Colleagues in the room are much more familiar with it. So if you have any questions in the Q&A session, I will ask for their kind support. But as you can see here, it's split in, under 5 different work packages. One on essential management and coordination, another on communication and dissemination, and we'll get into a little bit more detail on that in the next slides. On activities related to supporting and evaluating the nomenclature itself. Sustainability, so how we can ensure long-term, let's say, sustainability of the system. As you know, we have experience in the field in the past where this wasn't a key factor that was considered in the development of a nomenclature. So definitely trying to learn from past mistakes. And EMDN management. So the tools that are necessary for all actors, including healthcare professionals, manufacturers, and users and patients in order to support its correct use and understanding. A public service announcement. We have a training currently under preparation. This will be our first training event, which is expected to take place in Q4 2024. And we will work closely also with the WHO colleagues so that we can disseminate this across the appropriate networks. In addition, colleagues have been working on the development of a help desk. If you're familiar with our system, there's a help desk for UDAMED. There's currently a help desk for UDI, unique device identification, as well as nomenclature. The intention here is to form a specialized area and help desk and a digital platform, which can support users in their understanding, but also understanding better how to appropriately allocate EMDN codes for medical devices and IVDs. Moving on to work package 5. This is the first year that we kick off the annual revision of EMDN. And what you see here represented on the screen is the different phases of when actors can contribute through our public platform. Anyone can provide a suggestion for the amendment of an existing EMDN code or to provide a suggestion for a new code and term. So the collection of requests usually takes place during what we call phase 1 in the public platform. Then we move into our technical phase of evaluating all of the submissions. And we go to our hierarchy. So as we said, regulators led, the nomenclature working group established at EU level, which consists of representatives from every EU member state and stakeholders who are nominated to be part of that working group. The final phases is to provide the final version to the group, the final draft version where there could be proposed feedback from the actors, including member states. And the estimation is that a final draft is endorsed by the group during phase 3. And then moving into the official endorsement by the high-level group, the Medical Device Coordination Group, and its eventual publication and update in UDAMED and in our EMDN browser, hence a new version that can be downloaded by all actors. So in summary, this is the annual procedure that we have been working very hard to finalize with all actors, and we're very happy to see it kicked off this year for the very first time. With that, I thank you for your attention. Of course, collaboration with the WHO remains to be a priority for us. We've been aligned in our principles since at least the drafting of the principles in 2018. We have continued to support all related activities, may it be during COVID-19 when we developed the joint list on essential medical devices and critical COVID-19 medical devices, but also all of the mapping activities. And we look forward to continuing this fruitful activity with both the WHO and all actors who are collaborating, including GMDN. We remain available for any questions, and these are our contact points. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nada and team. Indeed, the collaboration with the EMDN and the European Commission in this area has been very, very useful and very fruitful. And we thank you very much for that collaboration and commitment to continue collaborating with us so that together we can ensure that the health system, not only in Europe, but globally, have access, have the tools to ensure equitable access to quality assured health products, including medical devices. So thank you so much. And indeed, we value your collaboration and continued commitment to collaborate with us. On that note, then we move forward to our other collaborators, the GMDN, and over to you, Bruce, for your presentation.
Thank you so much. I think you can hear me. Greetings from London. Let me put that in the presentation mode. We thank WHO for organizing and the opportunity to share updates and some introduction on GMDN. Here in London, I have with me the chair of board of trustees of GMDN, John Wilkinson. We have senior nomenclature developers, Ed Glenn, Chinaniso Majoni, Luis Caracha, and our senior clinical lead, Dr. Barry Daniels, is also online attending. I'm going to give you a brief update, whiz through the slides. You're going to receive the slides, and you can always reach us for further questions, training needs, or anything you would like to discuss with us. So, the name explains it, Global Medical Device Nomenclature, names and groups all medical devices. It is very important to acknowledge it's a dynamic nomenclature updated in real time, which is representing the current innovation and the current supply of all medical devices. The history is dated back to 1991 by the European Standard Organization and later supported by the Global Harmonization Task Force. Now it's IMDRF. Moving forward, GMDN was first published in 1996 and since then has an inquiry service to serve all of its users, training needs, questions, new terms, and so forth. Access to GMDN is managed by a membership model, and there is a reason for that. To protect and maintain the integrity of the data, ensuring that any publicly available data is accurate, up to date, and supports patient safety. By that, I would like to emphasize especially the UDI implementation with the FDA Good ID since 2013. In Good ID, approximately 4.5 million medical devices are registered, and they all have their GMDN codes, terms, and definitions publicly available. Access to GMDN is for everybody. You just need to click register, become a member. You can choose your membership type, whether you're an individual person, a manufacturer, or just anybody who would like to use free of charge. So GMDN has more than approximately 13,000 users, 70 different regulatory systems, and we count Europe as one regulatory system, uses GMDN for one reason or another. And the users are spread around more than 145 countries. It is a self-funded, independent organization, a non-profit charity, and guided by regulators. Which we really believe in that, and I would like to give a little bit of information on the governance, because it is important that to how it's governed and quality management system managed. So John heads up the board of trustees, and we have very important 2 strategic groups, meets regularly on voluntary basis. On the right-hand side, you see the authorities strategic advisory group, members of ANMISA, FDA, Health Canada, MHRA, and TGA provide strategic advice and direction to GMDN. On the other side, technical advisory group discusses technical and future related topics with nomenclature and categorization system. And I head up the team, as you can see some members here. The quality management system is audited and shared with anybody who's interested in. About the structure. So we know that there are different nomenclature systems available and widely used. GMDN structure comes into two parts. On the right-hand side, you can see the nomenclature terms, which for each device group, there is a term name, a definition, a code, and it's dynamic to cope up, to keep up with the innovation in the industry. On the left-hand side, you can see the hierarchical classification, which devices are grouped at higher levels of categories. So this is important. Both hierarchical classification categories and nomenclature terms are used for data analysis that makes life easy for signal detection, supply chain, and other users. The definition is very important because across the world, when we read something, we need to understand and understand the same thing. So here's an example. So you can see on the right-hand side a group of medical devices: a wound, non-adherent dressing, absorbent, non-antimicrobial. This becomes with a code and a very well-defined definition that all other actors, all stakeholders understand what the device is. The categories, multi-hierarchy, as we say, especially the device by device function, anatomical specialty, names index. So you can dice and slice the data in different ways for your analysis requirements. We also mentioned that clinically relevant attributes are in the categories, like if it's implantable, the single use or not, the power might be related to a device, and so on. Both speakers, both Nada and Adriana, mentioned the use cases of nomenclature, which we have quite a lot of examples throughout the more than 25 years of history in GMDN. And we will encourage you to go to our websites and read some of the use cases. There are very interesting ones lately, especially for the cost efficiency related analysis, the wound care national program, the implant registries, and so forth. We think GMDN is an important part of medical device ecosystem and important part of global public health because it provides traceability, complements UDI, it enables early signal detection, data analysis, and ultimately identify the right technology for the patient. Also linking medical device data across different healthcare systems, jurisdictions within country and across the borders. Nomenclature that it needs to have a multi-hierarchical classification system, mutually exclusive terms, which we believe is very important. We all need to understand the same thing when we read a definition, and it will help for the global harmonization. We very much value our collaboration with the WHO, and we thank the director here and the general, Adriana. Thank you so much, and we are looking forward to expand our collaboration with the WHO. We said that the access to GMDN is quite easy. You just need to register and click on the website, choose the right registration for your organization, for yourself. It is very important to remember, as a charitable cause, we provide free of charge services to all the governments, hospitals, conformity assessment bodies, and so forth. And also, there are lots of other membership options depending on your organization type. And we sincerely thank all the medical device manufacturers who choose to work with GMDN and support us in our cause. When you use GMDN, there are lots of resources to help you, training videos, user guides, and also frequently asked questions. These are all publicly available on our website. And for your questions, you can email us. You can also ask one-to-one training sessions. We give an example here for the regulators, but we also provide one-to-one training sessions regularly with manufacturers or other stakeholders, academia, whoever wishes to utilize GMDN. We're often asked about the language translations. GMDN, as you can see on the left-hand side, available in different languages. But you can imagine that as a non-profit charity, unfortunately, we cannot support all the languages which is spread around, used in 145 different countries. But what we do is we provide our internal SOP, internal guidance, how to manage nomenclature translations to all the regulators who wishes to run their own translations. And there are examples of it, which we're working in Arabic with collaboration in Saudi Arabia. And also there are lots of other projects coming up for different languages. When the translations are performed by the SOP, so that we can publish them in our database, every GMDN user can actually see that translation, see that option. So we talked about we provide training sessions and one-to-one sessions to anybody. The latest one is coming up on the 17th of July. This one is especially for regulators, but we regularly keep other webinars or training sessions in place. So if you're a regulator and wish to know more about GMDN, talk to our senior nomenclature developers, ask your questions, please do join us. And you're going to see that information on LinkedIn, on our website, and just register and you can join us for free. So I think I've saw some questions on the chat. The nomenclature plays a great deal of importance in the UDI implementation. We are proud partners with the FDA and other regulatory bodies in terms of their UDI implementation, which is FDA, MHRA, TGA, Health Canada, Anvisa, and INVIMA. So there is, a common language between these jurisdictions with GMDN. And also supporting UDI implementation in other countries, whether they choose to mandate or not, we still provide database to many different regulators. We know and we see that many different European countries also utilize GMDN, not in UDelmed, obviously, but in registries, in hospital asset management, and they're free to join us. They are welcome to join us. To emphasize this, that GMDN is willing to collaborate with all regulators who wishes to utilize GMDN database. So by this, I thank you so much for your attention, and you can reach us on our website, email us. We're here to help you. And thank you. And over to you, I think, Director Gizi.
Thank you so much, Dennis Bruce and GMDN Group. And indeed, we thank you for the collaboration and indeed including the flexibility to provide access to WHO for open access to WHO's publications and the users of WHO databases to your database and nomenclature, and indeed what you have also already shared with us on what you have to offer to support global regulators and other users globally. So indeed, the collaboration has been very fruitful, and we look forward to the continued collaboration. Now you have heard from us talking, the three presenters, Adriana and Nada and Dennis Bruce. So we are now at an opportunity to go into question and answers, to answer your questions. And I hereby hand over to my general, Adriana, to take over the Q&A. Over to you, Adriana.
I'm not any general. I'm an international public servant, really passionate to solve this problem. Because if I may say, I started in a hospital 40 years ago, and I couldn't know how to name the devices. So I was also always looking forward, can WHO tell us, or somebody tell us how should we put the name? So this is the story, how everything started. And I will not stop until this is really available for all countries, because we really need to do it. So let me, I've been addressing some of the questions in the chat. We just have 7 minutes. So it's something that has been saying Nada and Dennis, well, to EMDN and the GMDN team, is many of them are asking questions about the structure and the mapping and everything. I was telling in the chat that they have different structures, so it's very difficult to match. It has been many to one or one to many. We tried that example, and Terry is here also, and others that help us do that mapping. So it has not been easy. But the way you can go into MeDevIS and then select, extract, and you will have an Excel table, and then that will do the matching. Of course, MeDevIS is 3,000 terms. We will expand to maybe 4,000, 5,000, etc. But it has to be a small process. Let me see. Let me see the questions. We responded to some questions. Okay, Nada, this is from you, from Kian Dong. Since the EMDN has different categories from A to Z, which principle to distinguish and select the right category? You want to comment? Or you want to respond directly in the questions? For Nada? Or Mauro? There is another one. Well, Nada, do you want me to give you the floor?
Can you hear us?
Yes, now I can hear
Okay,
you.
We can hear you.
Yes, apologies. I think I was double muted.
Yeah, maybe yes. Okay.
You would think
Go ahead.
after 4 years of experience, this wouldn't happen anymore, but unfortunately, it still does happen. So I think the question, maybe, I don't know if I understand the premise of the question. It's quite broad. If Kian Dong would like to elaborate a bit further, we would be happy to answer. But in short, every category is focused on different device, let's say, higher categories, ranging from respiratory devices to maybe devices intended for injection, reusable instruments, etc. So I don't know. Yeah, different types of technologies. So the higher category is basically just describing the technology plus sometimes the anatomy. So in the sense of where the device is intended to primarily act.
Thank you, Nada. We'll just go very quickly, and then we can, actually, the idea is that we recorded this session, we will share the slides. And by the way, I want to introduce Daniela, that's helping me respond all the questions. She's here with me in the room. Danny, please turn your camera on, just at least, so that people know that you're here. And secondly, also to acknowledge Anna Seves, that has been working with us on the GMDN terms for the essential diagnostic list with the and with the GMDN collaboration for the in vitro diagnostics. Okay, there is something about Jagadesh asked about GMDN and EMDN and MeDevIS to integrate in a CMMS system. I would like to let you know that WHO is developing a new CMMS book. That will be the updated version of the CMMS that we used to have. And in that one, we are requesting that whoever develops or uses any CMMS system, that they should use EMDN or GMDN, so that then we can start harmonizing. So we are proposing that. So Jagadesh will keep you on. We will let you know when this book is ready, so that then you can find the best namings. Some people were asking if these systems are available everywhere. So I said yes, but Nada and Dennis, you can also confirm, because anybody can access them anywhere in the world. And you heard from both of them the translations available. No, Federico is asking if there is an Excel tool or similar that automatically translates the different nomenclatures used. Well, we started that work, Federico, but the thing is, EMDN was here, but then GMDN added more terms or deleted some terms. So it has to be, the only way we can do that is if we have a live mapping, like every week. We have to update, because otherwise the updating times are very different. So it's not easy. I mean, it would be complicated because we already tried it and it was not working. The more data that is available, like UDIs and other data available, then we can do a mapping, and then we can use artificial intelligence and machine learning as it was done in the previous mappings that we tried. Those, if you agree with me, we just have 1 minute. Can we just give like 30 seconds to EMDN, 30 seconds to GMDN, then to us in WHO?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Nada, over to you. Just alphabetical order. Nada first, EMDN, then GMDN. Over.
Thank you, Adriana. It's the beauty and the curse of having a last name that starts with an A. No, thank you. So just I recognize that we omitted to provide an update on where we are on translating the EMDN. I won't go into a lot of details, but this is ongoing work. We're, of course, taking into account the experience that we had in translating in the past GMDN and some lessons learned in that regard. So, of course, we have initial translations, but they're currently being validated by technical experts, and we want to make sure that we have a harmonized approach moving forward. From our side, just thank you very much for this invitation. We look forward to future webinars. I understand this is going to be a series of webinars. So, and we remain available for any questions, as I mentioned, for the 2 contact email addresses that we've provided. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nada. Over to you, GMDN, Dennis or colleagues.
I wanted, as chair of GMDN, I want to thank WHO for this hugely productive collaboration. There's been a huge number of questions which we are more than willing to answer. We've got a very expert team with 20 years plus expertise in the room, and I think we learn from our stakeholders, and that's how we evolve rapidly to respond to stakeholders' needs, which is what GMDN is all about. And I would just repeat, ultimately, this is all about better outcomes for patients. And that's what we live and breathe here at GMDN every day. So please don't hesitate to contact us. We're an open door, and we're very keen to engage to see how we can do a better job serving you as stakeholders. Thank you.
We're planning from WHO side, we're planning to have more webinars. We're planning one on the 1st of October for regulators. Of course, everybody will be invited, but we will try to focus on that. And then Nada and Dennis, we had so much success. We have 326 people, but 60 registered that wanted to have the slides. So my proposal is that maybe we can organize another one in November on health technology management. And we would like, we're still preparing. it is not yet confirmed, but we would like to have the 5th Global Forum on Medical Devices in December, and then, of course, a session on nomenclature. So we would like to keep you informed. If you want to have these kind of events from WHO, please send thumbs up or down if you want more, so that we would know. And with this, I definitely thank you very much, and thank the collaboration with both of EMDN and GMDN and everybody that has helped to put this together. And well, I guess we all can work together and shake hands and work collaboratively towards the patient, because they are the ones that need us together. It's not a competition. Each one has their own characteristics, and we will make the best out of it if we can bring it to better care for patients, which is our goal. Deus, over to you to close. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adriana, and thank you, our partners, EMDN and GMDN, for journeying with us in our mission to ensure access to quality assured medical devices, and particularly ensuring traceability across the value chain, right out from R&D, duration, supply chain assessment, and the management throughout the supply chain. So, and the monitoring and vigilance. So it's important that we continue this collaboration, and as we continue responding to the questions that our clients have, and I think together, not only think, and I'm confident that together we will provide the best solution to our globalized economy and globalized world, with all the time focusing on the patient. Once again, together we are stronger, and indeed, thank you for demonstrating this in this webinar. So thank you very much for collaborating with us, and indeed, we look forward to an ever increasing improved access to quality medical devices, because we put ourselves forward to collaborate and in this important venture. Thank you so much, and thank you for the participants for your active participation and response and feedback. And as Adriana has highlighted, we will share the presentation on our website and the recording on our website, and we will aim to respond to the questions that we have not been able to respond to live. Thank you so much, and I wish you the rest of the morning, day, or evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deus. I just want to acknowledge and thank Daniela that is putting some polls in the chat. So if you can please respond to the polls so that we have some information. And thank you very much, everyone. So go ahead and use EMDN and GMDN, but please don't invent any new nomenclature systems. We don't want any more. Please, please start harmonizing. We need to work together. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deus. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Nada, and all the teams. Thank you, Daniela. Okay, we will remain here in the chat open so that they can send the final comments. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.